What's up everyone, my name is Ron from Comics and Stuff, and for today's episode, what we have is the X-Men 97 Nightcrawler action figure brought to you by Hasbro. Now at the time of recording guys, X-Men 97 is like days away, and luckily I do have off work, so I'm just planning to grab a bowl of cereal, put my head under the blanket, and watch the series the whole dang day. And these action figures are getting me hyped for it. It does come in a retro card showing the X-Men 97 team up there, X-Men 97 logo, and Marvel Studios. Over to the side, there's some nice artwork to Nightcrawler, and of course you do get a clear plastic bubble showing off the figure and its accessories, and I gotta say, it looks pretty dang good so far. To the back, we got some barcode legalities down there, a product shot of the Nightcrawler action figure, as well as different headshots to other figures in the wave Marvel Legends series up there. But now that we went through the package and everything, let's open it up and check out the figure. Alright, and here we got the X-Men 97 Nightcrawler action figure. His accessories off to the side right there. But we're going to measure him in because that set of hair that he got does give him quite a bit of height at 6¼ inches. Just a tad bit underneath it. Now for the accessories, he does come with a pair of fist hands. And I do like that because if you do got the other Nightcrawler, you know, the previous one in the Wendigo wave, he didn't come equipped with any fists. So the fact that this one does have some fists means that you could interswap between the two and all of that. However, I am disappointed that he wasn't included with a sword. From what I've seen in the X-Men 97 trailers, he is dual wielding swords. The previous Nightcrawler got one sword. If they would have included one sword with this one, then you got both, you could dual wield. So that's a missed opportunity, and I don't understand why they didn't include it. I mean, it's just reuse. But anyway, heading to the final accessory, which is this head sculpt. I do like it. Let's compare both of them real quick, guys, so you can see. They both got the same hair. And from what I could tell, it is like black with some blue dry brush. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I could be mistaken and could be blue with a heavy black wash, but yeah, that doesn't seem to be the case. One of them is snarling, the other one is a bit more stern. And I do like the fact that it includes that shadow, you know, on the face in order for him to blend into the shadows and all of that. Like how he's depicted in the comic. And the eyes got a nice yellow to them. The lips are a bit blue, got a dimple on the chin right there. And even though it's supposed to, you know, be the animated series, I do like how it looks. You know, I think it could be pulled off to be in your comic book display if you don't got the previous Nightcrawler. I do want to make some comparisons with the previous one because they do share the same torso, but the arms are different. Obviously, this one is in pinless tech, but the red part on his costume is also sculpted onto this. So that's a big improvement because the red on this was a bit light, so the white was shining through, the black was shining through as well. This one seems to be a hard red painted on. Nothing is shining through, and like I said, it is sculpted. The legs are also different. The red parts are sculpted on again. So, of course, pinless tech. If you guys are wondering if it's worth it for the body, you know, I think it is just because of the sculpted on pieces, the pinless tech. However, if you want to use the body and like try to switch out the heads and all of that, we'll get into that later. Be aware that the blues on the tail are a bit different, so it might look a bit funny. This is a bit on the darker blue, this one's a bit lighter. So again, guys, be aware of that. Anyway, let's get rid of him and let's get into the rest of this figure. I mean, if you got the previous one, like I said, the torso is the same. So, which isn't a bad thing because it was good sculpt, particularly with these shoulder pads. Anything else? Yeah, guys, it's a pretty basic costume. The whites seem to be painted, you know, nicely. I mean, the reds seem to be painted nicely. Whatever paint there is meant to be painted on, I don't think it's a bad job. So it is plain. The only sculpt are on the red pieces. The tail does have articulation and all of that. No bendy wire. And if you're wondering if it's the same tail, just different color, no, guys. It does seem to be bent differently. Anyway, let's get into the articulation, because articulation might be a bit different. At least not in the body, it isn't. It does come with a bowline hinge that allows him to look up that much, down that much. You do get slight tilt, and of course you're gonna get rotation. Now the shoulders does give you way above T-pose, so I do like that, considering that he does got shoulder pads. The shoulder pads doesn't really hinder it much from doing 360. There is a bicep cut that works just fine. Double jointed pinless elbows that get you pretty dang good range. So I do like that. Swivel and a hinge on the hands, and that works just fine. Now when it comes to the torso, again, it's the same torso as the last one, so expect the same articulation. Forward gives you good range, back gives you good range as well, and of course, you're gonna get that waist cut. And, you know, Nightcrawler is a pretty acrobatic character, so I don't mind the torso articulation at all. It gives him good range and all of that. And like I said, he's pretty acrobatic, so the splits are not bad either. I would have liked a bit more, but I'll take it. Legs go forward like this. Back a bit more. There is a thigh cut, double jointed, pinless knees that get you pretty dang good range. There is no boot cut to speak of, but the ankles go up like this, back like that, and you do get pivot. Like I said, guys, this I don't think is a bad Nightcrawler. The body is definitely an upgrade from the previous one. The head does not look bad, and if you don't have the previous one and you're worried about this meshing well with your comic book collection, I think it does good, just fine, to tell you the truth. Anyway, we're gonna check him out with other figures from comic collections as well, X-Men 97. We're just gonna compare him with other figures. And our first comparison will be with some X-Men 90s animated series VHS box set figures. Right there to the left, we got Wolverine, and to the right, we got Cyclops. And you know, these are supposed to be depicting the original 90s animated series, while he's X-Men 97. However, you know, the lack of cell shading and everything is not a detriment. To tell you the truth, they still got a cartoony look between them, and it works just fine. And in this comparison, I got him side by side with the other X-Men 97 figures that I got. Right there on the right is the Madeline Pryor, aka Goblin Queen, and to the left is the red and purple Magneto from Wave 1. And obviously, it's meant to look good, guys. You know, they're meant to look good together and everything like that. Let's just head into the next comparison. And in this comparison, we're just sizing him up with a couple of his giant-sized X-Men teammates, with Storm right there on the right and Colossus right there on the left. And if you're worried about it fitting with, you know, comic figures, I think it works, guys. You know, the only really thing that's cartoony is his face. And it being all shadowy like that, it's depicted like that in the comic book. So I don't think this is a bad look at all. And if you're getting this Nightcrawler to mesh him in with your comic book figures, yeah, it's not bad, guys. And our final comparison will be with the previous iteration of Nightcrawler, which was the one from the Wendigo wave. Now, I just wanted to get into a little more detail on this. I know I compared them earlier, and you guys saw that this new version got sculpted on pieces for the red parts on his arms and legs. But there's a bit more differences. There's also the differences in colors in the red. Like this one's a bit more vivid than the previous version. The blues are also a bit lighter than the previous version. But what's surprising is that the whites are different also. And I've already been muddied this, you know, old version up, so it's a bit dirty. But yet the whites, I don't know if it could be seen on camera, but yeah, the whites are a bit whiter on the old version. So if you guys want to interswap, you know, the sword hand with the new body, it could be done, but it's a bit of a mismatch, which is a bummer. And a missed opportunity that this one didn't already include another sword wielding hand. That way you could have, you know, dual wielded. So that sucks. But let's try some head swaps, at least one, because it is a bit of a tight fit, guys. Yeah, it's a bit of a tight fit. but it works. And like I said earlier, the blues are a little different for the tail, but since the tail is in the background, mostly covered with shadows and everything, yeah, it's not distracting. Anyway, I do enjoy the body on the new version, but I enjoy these alternate heads on the old version just a little bit better because it reminds me more of the comic book than this one. So let me know which one is your favorite down in the comments. So in conclusion, I do think that this is a good Nightcrawler figure. Yeah, it reuses some parts like the torso and the tail. However, the parts that they added that were new, like the arms and the legs with the sculpted on pieces and the pinless tech, kinda makes this a buy, even if you got the old one, just for the upgraded body. Now if you don't got the old Nightcrawler and you're looking for one in order to add to your collection, like I said guys, it's in an upgraded body, and the heads that it comes equipped with, it might be cartoony, but it still meshes well with comic book figures. My only gripe is that it didn't include a sword-wielding hand, specifically one in the opposite side of the old one. That way if you have the old one, you could dual wield. I think it's a drop ball by Hasbro. If you guys are interested in the figure, I will leave a link down in the descriptions. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like, comment, subscribe, because all of that stuff helps out the channel. My name is Ron from Comics and Stuff, and I'll check you guys on the next episode. Peace.